Did you know there is a day in the year when the heavens open wide and the Queen enters surrounded by angels, while millions of souls celebrate her victory? That day is not a symbol, not a legend. It is a reality that transforms lives. It is the day when the Virgin Mary was taken up to heaven, body and soul, the solemnity of the Assumption, August 15th. Imagine for a moment all the bells in heaven ring at the same time, all the angels sing, and Mary, the same woman who cradled Jesus, who stood at the foot of the cross, who prayed with the apostles, is crowned as Queen of the entire universe. And all of this does not happen somewhere far away, but in a reality that also touches your life. The Church teaches us that on this feast, we celebrate Mary's definitive triumph over sin and death. She, the mother of Jesus, was elevated to heaven and crowned as Queen. But this day isn't just for remembering her. It's an open door for you to receive special blessings. Padre Pio used to say, on the great feasts of the Virgin, graces rain down like spring showers for those who await them with faith. Picture this. While the world goes about its daily routine, something extraordinary is happening in the spiritual realm. Angels are singing, saints are rejoicing, and Mary herself, the woman clothed with the sun, is interceding with special power for her children on earth. This is your moment, your opportunity to tap into something magnificent. Today, I want to reveal 3 specific things you must do on the Assumption of Mary to receive a powerful grace. These aren't complicated rituals or difficult tasks. They're simple gestures, but each one is a key that opens the mother's compassion and moves her to intercede before her Son for you. Think about what you need most right now. Maybe it's healing for someone you love. Perhaps it's financial breakthrough, peace in your family, or clarity about an important decision. Maybe you're carrying a burden that feels too heavy, or you're facing a situation that seems impossible. Today, August 15th, of the Assumption of Mary, could be the day everything changes. If you believe Mary can transform your deepest struggles into victory, write in the comments, Holy Mary, my Queen, lift my prayers to Jesus. Your simple act of faith creates a connection that reaches beyond this screen, beyond this moment, straight to the throne of our Heavenly Mother. Are you ready to discover these 3 life-changing actions? Let's begin with the first one, and I promise you, by the end of this message, you'll understand why August 15th is one of the most powerful days of the entire year. The first thing you must do on the Assumption of Mary is renew your consecration to the Virgin. If you've never done this before, this is the perfect moment. If you have, today is the day to do it with renewed spirit and deeper understanding. What does it mean to consecrate yourself to Mary? It means placing your entire life under her maternal protection. It's like a spiritual adoption where you become truly her child and she becomes truly your mother. Take your rosary in your hands. If you don't have one, simply hold your hands over your chest. Find an image of Mary. It could be a statue, a picture, or even just close your eyes and picture her gentle face. Now speak to her not as a distant saint, but as the most loving mother you could ever imagine. Say with your soul, Mary, I belong to you. Guide me always. Take my life and make it pleasing to your Son. When I am weak, be my strength. When I am afraid, be my courage. When I am lost, be my light. I trust you completely, dear Mother, and I place myself under your protection. Padre Pio understood this truth deeply. He said, when you place yourself under Mary's mantle, the devil cannot touch you. This isn't just beautiful poetry, it's spiritual reality. Mary's protection is real, tangible, and immediate for those who truly consecrate themselves to her. Let me tell you why this consecration is so powerful, especially on the Assumption. When Mary was taken up to heaven, she didn't abandon her children on earth. Instead, her motherhood became universal and eternal. From her throne in heaven, she watches over every soul who calls upon her name. But there's something special about those who have formally given themselves to her through consecration. Think of it this way. Imagine you had two groups of people asking for your help. One group consists of strangers making requests. The other group consists of your own children, your own family members, asking for the same things. Which group would receive your immediate and most generous response? Your own children, of course. This is exactly what happens when you consecrate yourself to Mary. The beauty of consecration is that it doesn't require perfection from you. Mary knows you're human. She knows you'll make mistakes, have doubts, and face struggles. But when you belong to her, she works with your imperfections. She covers your weaknesses with her strength. She presents your prayers to Jesus with her own perfect advocacy. Many people think consecration is a one-time event, but Padre Pio taught differently. He would renew his consecration regularly, especially on Mary's great feast days. Why? Because our human souls need constant renewal. We forget, we get distracted, we start trying to handle everything on our own again. On this August 15th, as Mary is celebrated in her heavenly glory, she's looking down with special tenderness on those who choose to consecrate themselves to her. It's as if she's saying, "Come, my child. Let me be your mother not just in name, but in every detail of your life. I want you to understand something profound. When you consecrate yourself to Mary, you're not adding another burden to your life. You're actually removing the heaviest burden of all, the burden of trying to navigate this difficult world alone. Mary becomes your spiritual guide, always directing you toward what's best, always protecting you from what could harm your soul. If you're facing a difficult situation right now, here's what I want you to do after you make this consecration. Tell Mary about it as specifically as you would tell your earthly mother. Don't use formal, religious language. Just talk to her. Say, "Mother, I'm scared about this situation. I don't know what to do. Please help me." Then listen with your spirit. Pay attention to the peace that comes, the ideas that surface, the opportunities that appear. This consecration to Mary on the Assumption isn't just about receiving blessings, though blessings will come. It's about entering into a relationship that will sustain you through every season of your life. When earthly mothers fail us, Mary never will. When human help runs out, Mary's advocacy continues. As we prepare to discover the second powerful action for the Assumption, remember that this consecration you've just made isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the foundation upon which all other graces will build. You are now truly Mary's child, and she is truly your mother in the most beautiful and powerful sense. The second thing you must do on the Assumption of Mary is attend Holy Mass and offer it for a special intention. In the Eucharist, Jesus himself gives himself to us, and there is no greater gift than uniting your prayer with his. Let me explain why attending Mass on the Assumption carries extraordinary power. When we celebrate the Eucharist, we don't just remember what Jesus did 2,000 years ago, we participate in that same sacrifice that transcends time. And on August 15th, when the Church celebrates Mary's triumph over death, your participation in Mass becomes a bridge between earth and heaven. Padre Pio had an incredible understanding of the Mass. He said, "If people understood the value of one Mass, there would be endless lines to get in." This wasn't exaggeration. It was the insight of a man who spent hours celebrating Mass because he understood he was touching eternity. When you attend Mass on the Assumption, you're not just fulfilling an obligation, you're positioning yourself at the exact intersection where heaven meets earth. Think about it. Mary, who is being celebrated in her heavenly glory, is the same woman who said yes to God's plan at the Annunciation. Her yes brought Jesus into the world, and your yes brings Jesus into your specific situation. Here's what I want you to do. Before Mass begins, Hold your specific need in your mind. Maybe it's healing for a loved one. Maybe it's provision for your family. Maybe it's restoration of a broken relationship. Maybe it's guidance for a major decision. Don't bring a vague prayer. Bring something specific, something that matters deeply to you. When the priest elevates the host during the consecration, this is your moment of power. Look at that host. It's no longer bread, it's Jesus himself. In that sacred moment, imagine yourself placing your intention directly into the hands of Jesus. But here's the beautiful part. Picture Mary standing right there beside the altar, taking your intention from Jesus and holding it close to her immaculate soul. The connection between the Eucharist and Mary isn't accidental. Mary gave Jesus his human body, the same body that becomes present in every Mass. When you offer Mass for your intention on the Assumption, you're asking the Mother to present your need to the Son in the most perfect way possible, through the sacrifice that saved the world. I remember reading about a woman named Sarah who attended Mass on the Assumption 3 years ago. She'd been unemployed for 8 months, facing the possibility of losing her home. Instead of staying home feeling sorry for herself, she dragged herself to Mass that August 15th. During the consecration, she placed her financial crisis into Jesus' hands and asked Mary to advocate for her. The very next day, she received a call for a job interview for a position she hadn't even applied for. Someone had recommended her. Within 2 weeks, she had not only gotten the job, but discovered it paid more than her previous position. Sarah told me, "I know it was Mary. The timing was too perfect to be coincidence. But here's what many people miss. Offering Mass for an intention isn't just about making requests. It's about aligning your will with God's will. Sometimes the grace you receive isn't the specific thing you asked for, but something even better, the strength to handle your situation with peace, the wisdom to see new possibilities, or the healing of relationships you didn't even realize needed healing. When you participate in Mass on the Assumption, you're joining your voice to the entire Church throughout history. Every saint who ever lived, every angel in heaven, and Mary herself in her glorified state, all are present at every Mass. Your personal intention becomes part of this cosmic prayer, lifted up by voices more powerful than you can imagine. The beautiful truth is that Jesus never refuses his mother's requests. At the wedding in Cana, when Mary asked Jesus to help with the wine shortage, he performed his first public miracle. She simply said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." That same dynamic happens when you offer Mass through Mary's mediation. She tells Jesus about your need, and she tells you to trust in his response. After Mass, don't rush away immediately. Take a few moments to thank Mary for her advocacy, thank Jesus for the gift of the Eucharist, and then pay attention in the days that follow. Grace often comes quietly, in ways we don't expect. Sometimes it's a sudden peace about a situation that was causing anxiety. Sometimes it's an unexpected solution that appears. Sometimes it's simply the strength to endure what cannot be changed. This August 15th, make your attendance at Mass an act of faith, not just routine. Come with expectation, come with your spirit open, and come ready to let Mary take your deepest concerns directly to the throne of her Son. Speaking of the power of prayer and Mary's advocacy, I want to share something special with you. Many people have asked me how they can deepen their prayer life and strengthen their connection with Padre Pio's teachings. That's why we've created something truly meaningful for those who want to experience the transformative power of devotion. Our ebook, The Power of the Rosary with Padre Pio, Miracles, Protection and Divine Graces, will help you discover how to pray the Rosary with greater devotion and depth, learn about the miracles and testimonies of those who have experienced its power, understand Padre Pio's most impactful teachings about prayer, and receive a 30-day prayer guide with daily intentions to strengthen your faith, plus access to special prayers for protection, healing and liberation. The Rosary, was Padre Pio's greatest weapon, and today it can be yours too. Don't miss this opportunity to strengthen your spiritual life with material that has already helped thousands of people. To download it, just click the link pinned in the comments. Now, let's discover the third powerful action for the Assumption. The third thing you must do on the Assumption of Mary is perform a concrete act of love in honor of Mary. This isn't just about praying or attending Mass. This is about letting Mary's compassion beat through your actions. Mary lived her entire life in service to others. From the moment she said yes to the angel Gabriel, she was thinking of humanity's salvation, not her own comfort. When she visited her cousin Elizabeth, she went to serve, not to be served. At the wedding in Cana, she noticed the host's embarrassment and moved to help. Even at the foot of the cross, in her deepest pain, she accepted the responsibility of being mother to all of us. On the Assumption, Mary wants to see her own compassion reflected in her children. This means stepping outside yourself and doing something beautiful for someone else, specifically in her honor. It doesn't have to be grand or expensive. Sometimes the smallest acts of love create the biggest miracles. Visit someone who is sick or lonely. Make that phone call to reconcile with someone you've been avoiding. Help a neighbor with groceries. Forgive someone who hurt you. Send an encouraging message to someone going through a difficult time. Donate to a food bank. Even pray for someone you consider an enemy. Yes, that person who frustrates you or has wronged you. Padre Pio understood this perfectly. He said, "Charity is the key that opens all the doors of heaven, but charity isn't just giving money, though that can be part of it. Charity is love in action. It's choosing to see others the way Mary sees them, as beloved children of God who need compassion, understanding, and help." Here's why this act of love on the Assumption is so powerful. When you love someone in Mary's name, you become her hands, her voice, her compassion in the world. She can't physically embrace the lonely anymore, but you can. She can't physically feed the hungry, but you can. When you act with love in her honor, she multiplies the impact of your gesture in ways you may never fully understand. Let me share something beautiful that happened last year. A man named David had been struggling with his teenage son for months. Their relationship had become nothing but arguments and silence. The boy was angry, rebellious, and seemed to hate everything his father stood for. David felt like a complete failure as a father. On August 15th, David remembered that it was the Assumption, and he decided to do something loving in Mary's honor. Instead of lecturing his son or trying to fix their problems with words, he simply went to his son's room and said, "I'm going to clean your car today, no strings attached. I just want to do something nice for you." His son was suspicious at first, waiting for the catch, the lecture, the conditions. But David just spent 2 hours washing, waxing, and detailing that car, praying for his son the entire time. When he finished, he left the keys on the kitchen counter with a note that said, "I love you more than you know, Dad." 3 days later, his son came to him and said, "Dad, I've been thinking about what you did with my car. It made me realize how patient you've been with me, even when I've been impossible. Can we talk?" That conversation became the turning point in their relationship. David told me, "I know it was Mary. She took my simple act of service and turned it into healing for our whole family." This is how Mary works. She takes our small gestures of love and transforms them into something far beyond what we could accomplish on our own. But here's the key. The act of love must be genuine, not manipulative. You can't do something nice just to get something in return. You have to do it because you truly want to honor Mary by loving as she loved. Some of you might be thinking, "But I don't have time," or "I don't know what to do," or "I'm going through my own struggles right now." Here's the beautiful truth. Often, the best acts of love come from people who are struggling themselves. When you give from your own emptiness, When you serve despite your own pain, Mary's compassion is especially moved. Maybe you're dealing with financial stress, but you can still call someone who's lonely. Maybe you're battling illness, but you can still pray for someone else's healing. Maybe you're heartbroken, but you can still offer words of comfort to another broken soul. Mary understands that love sometimes costs us something, and that's exactly what makes it powerful. The act of love you choose doesn't have to be connected to your own needs or problems. In fact, sometimes it's more powerful when it's not. When you serve others purely for Mary's honor, without any agenda for yourself, you create space for her to work in unexpected ways in your life. As you plan your act of love for this Assumption, ask Mary to guide you. Pay attention to who comes to mind, what situation you become aware of, what opportunity presents itself. Sometimes the person you're meant to help will be obvious. Sometimes Mary will surprise you by putting someone unexpected in your path. Remember, you're not just doing a good deed. You're participating in Mary's own mission of bringing God's love to the world. You're allowing her to love through you, and there's no greater privilege than that. As we come to the end of our time together, let me remind you of the 3 powerful actions that can transform your August 15th into a day of extraordinary grace. Renew your consecration to Mary, attend Holy Mass with a specific intention, and perform a concrete act of love in her honor. These aren't just suggestions, they're invitations from the Queen of Heaven herself. Today, as we celebrate Mary's Assumption, she's extending her hand to you, offering to take your burdens and carry them to her Son. She's promising that no prayer made in faith on this day will go unheard. No act of love will go unrewarded. Think about this moment in salvation history. When Mary was taken up to heaven, body and soul, it was God's way of showing us our own destiny. Death is not the end. Suffering is not permanent. What seems impossible becomes possible when we trust in God's plan. Mary's Assumption is your preview of eternal life, your guarantee that this world's struggles don't have the final word. August 15th comes only once each year. We don't know if we'll have the grace to experience another Assumption feast day on earth. This could be your moment, your breakthrough, your miracle. Don't let it pass by like just another ordinary day. Padre Pio used to say that Mary is never outdone in generosity. Whatever you give to her in love and faith, she returns multiplied. The time you spend in consecration, she repays with protection. The devotion you show at Mass, she repays with advocacy. The love you show to others in her honor, she repays with blessings you never expected. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to close your eyes for a moment and picture Mary in her heavenly glory. See her wearing the crown of 12 stars, clothed with the sun, standing on the moon. But notice her expression. It's not distant or cold. It's the face of a mother looking at her beloved child. That's how she sees you, Virgin Mary, Queen assumed into heaven. Today I place myself completely under your protection. Receive my intentions, watch over my family, advocate for all my needs. Cover us with your mantle and lead us one day to heaven to be with you and your Son for all eternity. Through your immaculate soul, may every prayer be heard, every tear be comforted, every hope be fulfilled. Amen. If Mary's love has moved your spirit today, if you trust in her powerful advocacy, write in the comments, "Mary, my Queen, I trust in your love." Your declaration of faith joins with thousands of others who are claiming this day's special graces. And please, share this message with someone who needs hope today. When you spread devotion to Mary, you become part of her mission to bring souls closer to Jesus. Like, subscribe, and become part of our community of faith, because together we're stronger, and together we can help each other grow closer to heaven.